and stanky and
Right.
clunky.
My name's
Bravo.
Ben. I will no longer be speaking for the rest of the episode. Take away, chat.
Bravo. Oh, damn, on one of these days I'm gonna perfectly time it.
You're like, whoa, yeah.
Yeah, bravo, Ben. I am just very proud of you. That wasn't even an eye roller or cringe. That was just well done. So, way to go. Hey, I'm Chad. I play Boomstick. Good to see y'all. It's gonna be a wild episode.
I'm Liam. I write and direct for Death Battle. I'm gonna be representing Funky Kong in the Court of Appeals, and he is going to eat Franky. His jaw is gonna unhinge like a snake, and then he's gonna just devour Franky whole, and the Thousand Sunny, and the entire One Piece planet, and even Enel on the moon. He's gonna eat him too. It's gonna be terrifying. He's like a furry gorilla Cthulhu, and you will all be consumed by his wrath. So that was all. And
then there's
Thank
Liam.
God.
There's Luis. Sorry.
Yo, what's up, everybody?
Nice.
I'm
Did you just
arguing
call
for
him
Franky.
Liam?
Yes.
I was gonna say there goes Liam, and then I
Yeah.
just switched up the phrasing.
You're
There's
all
Luis.
Liam.
See, I peeked at the very beginning of the show, and I handed it off to you, and it couldn't even. It can't even.
Look, normally I'm on it.
Work. All right.
I did the
fine.
thing.
I
where you
mean, I'll
snip
never
two things
be
in
able.
your brain, and you say the opposite things and swap.
I will
them.
never be able
Nice
to say
fucking
anything
job.
greater than I said at the very beginning of the show, but that's fine. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Death Battle Cast. This is our ultimate episode, clearly,
Yeah.
of One Piece versus the classic One Piece rival, Donkey Kong.
Everybody
You
knows.
know,
It makes a lot of
everybody,
sense.
everybody argues about this.
They're
pairing.
pirates. There's fruit.
Huh?
I
Yeah.
actually think Blackbeard versus
that's-
K. Rool
yeah,
is actually a
true.
super good matchup. I actually think that Blackbeard versus K. Rool is great. I unironically stand that one. I think Donkey Kong is the One Piece of the Mario franchise.
Uh-huh.
You know? I think it makes sense.
There you
except
go.
way more powerful.
That
and
is a
would
statement.
No, that
obliterate
doesn't make
in a
any
fight.
sense at all. What are you
It makes sense because I
talking
just said
about?
that.
Okay, yeah, so we are going to be pitting Franky versus Funky Kong
Yeah.
today.
Yoshi is
today's
Naruto.
matchup. Liam will be repping Funky, and Luis will be repping Franky. And if I get those names mixed up, Funky and Franky,
Fanky, Frunky.
can you blame me?
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if me and Liam get the names mixed up while talking. So
let's just say one instead of the other. Yeah.
Well, whatever I say. I
You mean Funky.
I mean Funky. I almost said Frankie right there.
All right.
We're gonna get all mixed up this episode.
We also, speaking of getting
Okay.
mixed up, we also have a. I actually don't know how this translates. We will have a little preview for an upcoming episode of Death Battle later on in the show. Stitch versus Rocket Raccoon, our 175th episode of Death Battle, is going to be airing next week, and we will have a little sneak peek into the fight to show you in just a little bit. So stay tuned for that. Very exciting stuff. Also, we didn't really talk too much about it last week because we had a guest on, and it was a really fun time. But Killua versus Misaka is out if you haven't seen it yet. The battle of lightning charged, like
Children.
superpowered kids. Yeah, essentially, one of them can turn a quarter into a fucking railgun. Like, yeah, it's wild. Definitely check it out. It's a pretty cool episode. But as always, the way we do this is we have two people repping these two characters, Franky and Funky, respectively, and then the rest of us, including you all watching this live right now at 3 p.m. Central on Tuesday, will get to vote on who wins based on these people's arguments. All right, and of course, everybody who's in the chat right now, feel free to chime in and let us know what you think of the arguments, or if there's anything you want us to talk about regarding the characters, and we'll make sure that gets touched on. Okay, so
Before we get started, though, Ben, I want to do a thing.
okay.
So it's because it's better to do it now before we like get into the arguments and everything like that. I just want to
screeching Screeching
Screeching
halt
halt.
to all
Yeah.
momentum.
Yes, absolutely. Because my friends Armando, Andrew, and Griff over at the Rooster Teeth side, they have done an all new version of the Rooster Teeth podcast, and it's very funny. And they are wonderful people, and I love them, and they're hilarious. And I wanted to. They did a really funny bit with our TD for the show, Mike. You guys know Mike. He's behind the scenes. He chimes in every now and then for the tiebreakers and things. So they did a really funny bit, and I'm just gonna straight up steal it and show you guys. But first, I'm gonna tell Armando live if he answers, and if he doesn't, I'm just gonna play it anyway. I did not plan this, so he may
This
not
better be
answer.
so funny. This bit isn't funny. I'm gonna die.
This is my favorite bit.
I love it. Yeah. Oh, he's
Is your
taping
phone
our
even
TP
ringing?
right now.
Get
The wireless customer.
All right, I don't know if that's gonna say his number, so I'm gonna end that. That's fine. Fuck it. I'm stealing it. It was really funny, and it'll give you a chance to meet Mike and look at Mike's wonderful acting skills. So just roll it. Let's do it.
I'm gonna
Hopefully-
3D print a gun and just leave it in there.
Where is the gun?
We never got the gun.
Oh.
We haven't shot that video yet.
All right, I got the story. We're all good. You good?
I'm great. Yeah, cameras are looking good. Everyone's great. Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, can we get a mic check?
Oh, hey guys, Mike here. Yeah, thanks for checking in on me. It's been really tough since the accident. It just doesn't seem like anybody listens to what I have to say. It's just it's kind of hard, but it's so nice that you're.
Okay, we're good. Jesus, man.
Man, it talks a
Jeez.
lot.
What
But
just
I mean,
goes on.
God is okay.
Yeah, I guess.
Whatever.
Jesus Christ.
Everyone, thank Mike for running the show.
Yep.
And be sure to
Who's
be sure to
Mike?
check in
Yeah.
on your mic.
Yeah, check it out.
Shout out to Mike.
Check out the new Rooster Teeth podcast. It's very funny.
Love it. Love it.
Also,
Love you,
earlier,
Mike.
Lily
Right.
Mandragon dropped 10 memberships. Thank you so much. I was
Oh my
distracted.
goodness gracious.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All
Bravo.
right. Well, good screeching halt to the show. Let's get back on track. It's time to talk about Frankie and Funky beating the shit out of each other.
Hell
All
yeah.
right, let's start with Frankie. Let's start with
Sure.
a pirate. Wait, is Funky a pirate? No, Funky's not a pirate.
No.
No. Frankie. Who is Frankie? What's he bringing to the fight? Luis.
All right, let's get started. So 60 seconds. There we go. Cuddy Flan, aka Iron Man Frankie, is the shipwright of the eighth member of the Straw Hat Pirates. Originally from the South Blue, Frankie was abandoned by his family as a 4-year-old and eventually made his way to Water 7 in the Grand Line. There, he became the member of the shipwright company Tom's Workers, who helped create the pirate for the King of the Pirates, Roger, until an accident heavily damaged his body, requiring him to reconstruct himself as a cyborg. Frankie has fought many strong foes like Fukuro, Senor Pink, and Sasaki, one of the Toriropo of the Beast Pirates run by Kaido, who is known in One Piece as the strongest man in all of One
Richard.
Piece. Yeah. Frankie is hella strong. His durability is insane. He has vehicles, tanks, mechs, and he can build things in an instant. Sorry to burst your bubble, Liam, but Frankie's super got
Oh
this.
shit. My fucking
I
bubble
mean-
has been burst.
Yeah,
Fuck.
it's been burst.
I mean,
There's no
It's a
coming
booster
back from that.
balloon. It would have made more sense because the balloon items in Donkey Kong.
But
But I don't think you
Oh
did
my
burst
God.
my balloons because Funky gets 3 of them per level. So
Uh-huh.
Oh my
yeah.
God.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Yeah, go
we
ahead.
will talk about that.
All right, go ahead and talk about Funky.
Funky Kong is a member of the esteemed Kong family. He is like that super libertarian uncle that's a doomsday prepper that has tons of weapons and is prepared for anything. Funky is objectively, even without his like appearance in Tropical Freeze most recently, he is uh uh a member of the Kong family that scales to all the other Kongs. He has literally fought Donkey Kong in the past to a draw. He is Donkey Kong plus a shitload of gadgets and items and weaponry. He is incredibly powerful, incredibly smart, and it is so much stronger and tougher than Franky that it's really no contest. The items give him an edge. His weapons give him an edge. His stamina gives him an edge against Franky's limited stamina. He just takes it in every way.
I'm very much looking forward to how this goes.
Yeah, Funky's that cool uncle you see on Mario Kart Wii all the time. He never.
Funky is top tier in Mario Kart Wii.
Is he even a cool uncle though? Like
he is.
I get,
dude. Have you seen him?
Yes, I've seen him, and I get like
I see him like.
I peaked in high school vibes from Funky Kong.
Oh,
like
no,
talking about his
not
time on the
at
football
all.
team. That one time he caught. He made a touchdown.
He's Uncle
in
Rico
junior year
from Napoleon
like, that's
Dynamite.
That's the vibes I get from Funky Kong.
No, the Kongs would be completely lost without Funky. Frankly, the only reason he isn't like the one taking the lead on everything is because he's a lazy sack of shit that would just rather chill the fuck out and let Donkey and Diddy do the work for him.
No, but Ben, I totally feel you. He gives off Johnny Lawrence vibes, like from Cobra Kai. Like that's his thing. Like,
yeah.
I'm thinking like
Definitely.
Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite, that kind of thing.
Sure.
But no, I.
Yeah, thanks for the membership.
Thanks for the 10 memberships, dude. Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm really looking forward to this debate. This is wild.
So both of them build things.
Yes.
Both of them are super strong. Funky's obviously not. Funky's not a cyborg, right?
No.
No.
I mean, not that we.
That
know.
would be wild.
Not that we know.
He's
we haven't
Frankie's
opened
a
up
cyborg.
Franky yet, so we don't know.
This is
kind of open.
Yeah.
This isn't an argument necessarily, but Mike, if you could bring up image 4.
Already getting the images. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I just wanted to include this because Funky from the cartoon is a fucking terrifying hell beast.
Oh yeah, I know. It's so bad.
They
Wait,
bleach
why is
his
he all
fur.
blonde?
He looks naked.
Yeah.
He just looks naked.
I hate his arm hair. It's so it's so weird and disgusting.
So it looks like a skin rash, like a really bad fucking skin rash. And his eyes. I mean, maybe those goggles are really like cybernetic.
What was on his head?
That's a bandana.
I
He always
believe that's
has
a bandana. Yeah.
Okay.
That little cartoon is a nightmare.
Yeah. That show terrifies me, and I think
what are you guys talking about? This show is a masterpiece.
I think that if it was Funky's like cartoon design versus Franky would die of fear. Like his soul would escape his body like Brooke, and he would just drop dead. The nipple lights would not save him.
You know, and if we were to do like anime Franky, we might have to go cartoon Funky, same medium. He just shows up and everybody dies.
The Funky Kong analysis will just be the same as the Donkey Kong one, where half of it is just jokes about the cartoon.
Yeah.
Hopefully you're not
cartoon
bringing
is
any feats from the cartoon itself, right?
I don't have any feats from the cartoon. I don't need feats
I
from the
don't think
cartoon.
it does
that's
anything in
good.
the
That's
cartoon
good
anyway,
because I would argue that's an alternate timeline altogether. Not even the real Funky.
We use as long as there is no direct contradiction, we always use supporting material from like different. We'll use the cartoons, we'll use the games, we'll use the anime, as long as it doesn't directly contradict. That's consistent.
I think it does directly contradict it because there in that show there is the crystal coconut, which is not referencing any other game or any other series other than the cartoon, and it seems to be like this way the source of power for them in a sense.
I mean, I wasn't going to bring up. I actually was going to bring up the crystal
matchup
coconut, but not the one from the cartoon. The one from Barrel Blast. I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters though. There's multiple crystal.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
What
wanted
Liam's
to
referencing though, because I know some people in the chat will probably be like, "Wait, they count the cartoons?" He's talking about like if something isn't super clear in like a book or a comic or whatever, sometimes we can use like an anime adaptation to help clear it up. and
If-
that kind of thing.
Yes.
Not
If
like
the Joker-
something, we're not going to take something original from a cartoon and be like, oh yeah, he has that in the comics for some reason.
Yeah, if Batman is a Kryptonian in a cartoon for some reason, we're not going to count him as a Kryptonian in an analysis.
So
But-
bleached Funky does not
Bleach
count.
Funky.
Yeah.
Bleach Funky absolutely counts, even though there's no point in talking about him. There's nothing that contradicts. His fur is
Alternate
different.
dimension.
Kage,
Wait,
thank you for the
universe.
10 gifted memberships.
I don't even know why
That
I'm like, pushing this
contradicts,
argument.
Leo.
Storm, thank you for the
Funky
one.
Kong ever bleach his fur in Donkey
Is-
Kong canon?
If
Oh,
there's
if-
anything different whatsoever, it's all out.
You know,
Let's-
actually,
let's be real
as
here.
soon as I was saying that, he probably has.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
there was a Kong that was gonna bleach their fur,
Yeah.
1000%. But he would have done like frosted tips, but for like the whole body.
Yeah.
And that argument
Yeah.
that argument works both ways. Like there are feats that we've used for One Piece characters that are just from the anime.
Oh my god. I
But we
hate
included
the
them
idea of
because it's fun.
frosted tip Donkey Kong.
2000s like
It's terrifying
jorts.
sounding.
Only
Yeah.
if it's-
He's
Funky
got a
Kong.
puka shell necklace. And
Yeah,
a
yeah,
chain
yeah,
wallet.
yeah. He has,
Uh,
he has the Justin Timberlake, Britney Spears jean outfit.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Can I talk about Funky Kong now?
Yeah, let's
Go
do
ahead.
that.
Okay,
No,
so
I think we've talked about Funky Kong enough. Let's actually
okay,
talk about
let's
Frankie.
Frankie.
Oh, yeah, there
Let's
you
talk about Frankie Kong.
Oh, do you want to talk about Frankie? Okay,
because
okay.
Funky is going to marry him
Well,
and bring him into the Kong family. So he's going to be Frankie.
That's actually exactly what this
Perfect.
what
Yeah.
Death Battle's always been about, actually.
That crosses several lines.
All right,
I could draw a few
so
more.
let's talk about Frankie. What does he have available to him? What are
Thank you, Burp.
these
um,
robot
so,
biceps going to be doing?
so Frankie has a lot of different like abilities that he has gained from changing his body, using Vegapunk's technology, which is like the smartest and like the most like advanced like character in One Piece who knows like pretty much a lot of like very advanced technology. And he is able, because of those modifications that he made, he's able to shoot light out of his like arm and create a cannon of light that like shoots like laser beams basically. And he can also like shoot out his arm using weapon left, which is like it's just like the arm gets shoot out, kind of like how Luffy shoots out his arm, but
It's like a rocket
So it
fist, or is it like
extends,
a
Yeah.
stretch
or like
fist?
does it fly
Yeah,
off
but-
of him?
if it stands out of him, there's a chain that links it to it.
Gotcha.
Oh
So-
yeah, that's cool. That's okay. I've seen that. Yeah.
Yeah, and not only does he have all these like different like abilities that like let him like fight with like advanced technology that creates like explosions and bombs and like laser beams, but he also has a huge arsenal of like different robots that he can use in fight. This includes like a motorcycle, and includes a tank, as well as when they combine, they turn into a mecha Frankie, basically, that he pilots and has a sword on top of that. It's just he has a lot of different like
Gadgets.
gadgets
tools.
that can tools to kind of fight against anything that Funky could throw at him, basically.
How
JS
big
says,
is
mention the
mecha?
nipple lights, Luis.
Oh yeah, the nipple lights. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? Let's just bring it up. Let's bring up the
Oh.
nipple lights. Image 10, please.
Yeah, you have your horrifying image of Funky. Here we go. This is Frankie's response. Stare into them.
Hell yeah.
Can shine his light. Honestly, I wouldn't surprise
Headlights.
me it wouldn't surprise me if later on he does shoot laser out of his nipples at some point.
What does BF-37 mean?
That is Battle Frankie 37. He called his left and right shoulders, which have like weapons attached to it, the NES version of his Battle Frankie series.
He rebuilds his body.
Yeah.
So he's
all the
he's
time.
constantly improving and
Yeah.
and readjusting his mechanical parts. That's awesome. Okay.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
like 37th model, basically.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Sweet. Okay.
Bleached
And
Frankie
how big is
versus
this mech?
nipple lights, the debate.
when he brings everything together, how big is this mech that he pilots?
Oh yeah. Sure. How about we look at Image 9 real quick, and
And
just
this
to
is when he brings
see-
all of his tech
Yeah.
together.
Yeah, when he brings his tech together, he turns into Battle Frankie, and he uses that to fight other enemies. And like Image 9 would be a reference of what he looks like.
What?
Okay.
Isn't that sick?
The
Cool.
hell.
All right, let's move on.
What is?
So it's as tall as the ship. All right, got it. Cool.
Nice.
That's amazing. All right. So I
what's the
mean,
gorilla doing?
the gorilla he built a cannon that can shoot coconuts. I know that.
Yeah.
We're gonna get to it, but the gorilla fights somebody just as big and beats him in one shot.
Nuh-uh.
We'll get. Have you ever played Donkey Kong 64?
Oh, you know what?
It's a
Actually,
game.
I did play it. I did not finish it because that game is really.
No one can finish it.
No.
No one's ever
Yeah,
finished
Very
that game.
tedious. It
Yeah.
goes on and on and on. It's fun though, but yeah, it goes.
I love
way
that
too
the
long.
aesthetic of Donkey Kong 64 maybe more than any other game ever. I don't know if I'll ever finish it because it's just it's the most like egregiously collectathon of all collectathons. But
That was the first game you needed an expansion pack for, right?
Yes, like
on the,
one
on
of
the
them.
N64.
On 64?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it
and
was.
it had the yellow cartridge. The
Yeah,
banana.
the yellow
it
cartridge.
came.
yeah, I
It
remember.
came with it.
It
Right?
looks delicious. I just have always wanted to eat the fucking banana cartridge. It looks so good. Anyways, let's talk about Funky Kong. Funky Kong's arsenal. Let's start off with the arsenal because once you get into stats, I mean, it's gonna be pretty clear that he fucking demolishes Franky. But let's talk about arsenal. His arsenal is actually somewhat similar to Franky's. I would say it trades like raw power. In general, it trades raw power for maneuverability. It's like, but a lot of it is the same kind of thing as Franky's, just jungle cartoon version. So instead of like laser guns, he is the one that built all of the Kong tech. So Donkey Kong 64, Donkey Kong has the coconut gun. It fires in spurts. If it hits you, it's gonna hurt.
Mhm.
He has the peanut pop guns for Diddy, the grape shooter for Lanky, the feather bow for whatever the small girl one is, and
Trixie?
the pineapple launcher for Trixie. Yeah, and pineapple launcher for Chunky. He's built jetpacks. He has his surfboard, which he can use to survive like insta kill like spikes, and it somehow he can like when he rides on it, it can fly indefinitely. Like I don't know if you've
that's
played
interesting.
Donkey Kong. I don't know if you've played Donkey Kong Country, the Donkey Kong Country games, but if you go to like Donkey Kong Country 2, when you go to his like little Funky Kong like area, his little shop, he's on the surfboard and then just levitating. He's just going this, and it's not connected to anything.
Hey, Liam.
He's just flying.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I gotta mess up the show again real quick.
Okay.
Let's see. Hey, Armando, what's up?
Yo, what's up? We're sorry, we were filming RTP.
Yeah, no. Hey, I'm live on Death Battle Cast right now. You know that really fun skit you guys did of like doing a mic check?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, well, you know Mike's our TD for Death Battle Cast?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I stole it and I just aired it on our show.
How did it go?
It went great. They thought it was very funny, and then I told them to check out RTP. But yeah, stole it, aired it. Don't copyright us, okay?
Oh, you're done in this town, bud. I'm dropping the full arm of Rooster Teeth's legal team on you, which I think is like 2 high school students.
All right, bring it on. All right, I'm getting back to my show. Yeah, you too. All right, bye. Okay, I'm sorry.
It should be fine.
That was a good bit, chat.
Yeah.
should be
Thank you.
proud of it. That's
Sorry.
going to go in the bit
Ben's not
hall of
pleased that
fame.
I
It would be great if we could
I
actually
think-
hear your phone.
So here's the thing.
Discord.
Discord would have filtered that out, but I promise you they got it. Like,
Well, it
Oh,
would've been
they got the full
great.
joke.
yeah.
For us to riff on, if we could even hear your phone. Why do you
Oh
have all
yeah,
your
no, he
filters
basically
on?
he laughed, and then I said, "Don't copyright us," and then he said he was
What
going to send the
microphone
full.
are you using? Why do you have your filters on in Discord?
Oh, just because of background noise and stuff. Anyway,
I'm going to talk about Funky now.
yeah, go back to it. Anyway,
I'm going to get into the meat and potatoes.
I think we've talked about Funky enough. Let's talk
No!
I'm like waiting for Liam to be like, and you know, because he had a surfboard, there was this Marvel crossover, and so here's Funky Kong with the powers cosmic.
But no, he can fly on his surfboard, and it just floats there indefinitely. And it when I looked
Wait,
at
what?
the
It
clip-
does?
I said that. Yeah, it float. He can just fly, and it just stays there. And it, you know, because the background is a lot more colorful in Donkey Kong Country 2, I was like, okay, maybe it's attached to a machine or something, and I'm just not seeing it. But if you play the Game Boy version of Donkey Kong Country 2, it's very clear that there is nothing behind it, nothing attached to it. He just flies indefinitely on it. He also has the rocket power bongos from Barrel Blast. I mean, all of the cast does. It's like the Donkey Kong kart racer, but you're flying. with like a big kind of like bongo jetpacks.
It's like
and
a waist
those,
belt, right? Or something?
yeah, basically. And they are actually fast enough in one of the racetracks to approach, cover the diameter of, and fully pass the fucking sun. Mike, if you could bring up image 6.
What?
Wait, what?
Yes, you fly entirely past the sun in one of those levels, and you can approach it and then fully pass it. And to be able to do that it takes about 5 seconds. I counted it out on YouTube. To do that about 5 seconds would require that you are flying at and being able to steer and use items and dodge stuff at 812,057 times the speed of sound, or about 92% the speed of light.
Wait a minute. What are these objects in space?
Yeah.
Those are like asteroids.
They
look
look
like ice to me.
They look like
Which makes me
props
wonder
to
if
me.
it's actually the sun.
It is the sun, because once you get closer, the bloom effect kicks in and it gets really bright.
Have you
so it's not
considered
just
that it
like
might be a set?
a Mars.
Yeah.
I'm gonna kill you.
Okay.
Okay, so that's wild. Didn't know about that.
He also has multiple invincibility items, like the melon, the crystal coconut, not from the show, from the game, and banana juice, which is an automatic invincibility. So whenever he takes damage, it immediately kicks in and makes him invincible. As well as green balloons, which are automatic revives.
Can we talk about how disgusting banana juice would actually be?
Right. Oh no, I like the Snapple banana juice. I actually really dig theirs.
I don't know.
I would have
Sound good to me.
I would have halal, and then I would have the banana juice with it, and it was just the perfect combination. He also has his most powerful weapon of all. Mike, if you could bring up image 3. He has
Started
the most impressive Hikaru Shido cosplay.
What?
Cosplay of the
that's
clamp
funky?
magical
That's
girl.
funky?
That's funky. That's funky. Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah. Which
what is this from?
I am bringing it up as a joke, but also if he slapped that on in the middle of the fight, Franky genuinely would not know that is funky until he attacked him, because Franky does not have. I don't think he has observation hockey.
He doesn't need observation hockey because he has all this like crazy like mechs that shoot like faster than light beams. Like
They are not faster than light. They are
it's
light
also
speed.
obvious that that's
They are
a
light.
don't think they're
monkey
faster
of
than
some
light?
kind.
You don't think they're
They are
faster
in
than
fact.
light?
Oh, okay.
They are
know
in
that,
fact
like,
not faster than light.
They are because
They are light.
They are yes they are light, but they're
Mhm.
stated that are based on Kizaru's power, right?
Yes.
Which is
Mhm.
faster than light, right? We
No.
know this.
No.
We-
He
yes.
he is a light Logia that attacks at light speed and is stated to attack at light speed.
Why
not
do we
faster
know
than light.
that this is faster than light, Luis?
Because it's been
Yeah.
stated in within the series.
Where? No, it's been stated that it's light speed because it's light. Like Kizaru is a Logia fruit where you can turn into an element. Like
Okay,
Ace can turn into fire. He turns
Right.
into light.
let's
Light
talk
is not
about
faster than light.
let's talk about Franky faster than light then, right?
Okay, great.
Let's bring up image 1, please. This is from before. This is a fight between Luffy and Foxy, right? So before Luffy met Franky, Luffy fought against Foxy, whose power is to shoot out beams that slow people down. These beams are canonically photonic, which will make them faster than light. Franky was able to go head to head with Luffy during Water 7, which is the arc right after that. And this was before the time skip. This is not even accounting the upgrades that he received during that time skip. So I believe that this will make Franky easily faster than light.
I actually agree that Franky himself should be faster than light at the current point in the anime, just because Luffy dodges light beams casually so much earlier in the series, and he should scale past base Luffy at this point.
Right.
But I just want to clarify, like, a beam that is photonic, as in made of light beams, is not faster than light. It's light. Light is not faster than light. Faster than light is by definition faster than light.
He knows.
It doesn't.
Liam, it's fine. You're getting very.
I am not. I am being very like just
Okay.
it's not faster than light. But
Really, yeah,
we
Liam?
can talk about
Look, I had an amazing segue to our sponsor, with the light thing, but I'm not doing it because instead I just want to call out that there is no better episode, and we did not plan this. There's no better episode to be sponsored by Shady Rays than this debate right now.
I didn't even think about it.
I got so excited when I found it out that they were sponsoring this episode because, like, hell yeah, sunglasses, let's go. This episode is sponsored by Shady Rays. Take on the sun with gear, just like Frankie and Funky, built to last. Shady Rays has you covered for the summer with premium polarized shades at an affordable price. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company that offers world-class products that are just as good as any expensive pair. Plus, every pair of sunglasses is backed by lost and broken replacements. You lose or break your sunglasses, even on day one, they'll send you a brand new pair. No questions asked. Wear your Shady Rays with confidence because they have your back long after your purchase. There is no risk when you shop with Shady Rays. I love mine to death. You guys hear me rave about them all the time. I literally swap them, but even though I have multiple sunglasses, I take those back and forth between my two cars because they're my favorite sunglasses that I own. Don't tell my family who bought me some really nice ones years and years ago. Anyway, also, every purchase supports the Shady Rays Impact Program, which works directly with nonprofits and their communities to empower and make adventure available for all walks of life. From childhood cancer patients to young adults with serious health conditions, Shady Rays is making a lasting impact. Y'all know I'm all about charity, so another reason I love this company. So just for you, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Go to shadyrays.com and use code DBC for 50% off of 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself. The shades rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people. We love Shady Rays. What an episode to sponsor. I'm so excited. This is the time. If you've been holding out, you've been on the fence, I want this episode to be the one where they're like, wow, a lot of people went and used our stuff. Let's do it. So, like, go. This is the one. Use code DBC.
New criteria to as part of this fight. Go to shadyrays.com. Just open up a separate tab. Use the link or whatever we have. Look at one of the shades from there and just imagine Funky and Franky wearing it. Who pulls it off better? Give them a point.
Well, they got a bunch of different styles. You got a bunch to choose
just
from.
pick one. Pick your favorite. Which one pulls it off better?
Dude, 100%. You saw the ones that I have. It would be those. Like, absolutely.
We'll do that at the end of the show too, Chad. When we're voting, we should do that. Who can pull off just a random shade of glasses better? All right. So, major feats for the characters. Let's get into those before we jump into the Stitch Rocket sneak peek.
Okay.
Like, what are they really bringing to the table?
Okay, so Funky easily scales to Donkey Kong. On top of like being the replacement for Donkey Kong in Tropical Freeze and the Funky mode story of Tropical. So Tropical Freeze is the sequel to Donkey Kong Country Returns. They released a second version of Tropical Freeze where Funky replaces Donkey Kong and goes on the same adventure and beats the villain Lord Frederick, who can freeze the entirety of Donkey Kong Island in like just a few seconds. But that's not actually the best. The best feat he gets is scaling to Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong in Donkey Kong Country Returns, the feat of knocking the moon out of orbit. Right. Now, to clarify, like Funky Kong and Donkey Kong can match each other in strength. They do that in King of Swing, but it's also in that same game they give like a power ranking, and they say, or it's in one of the games they give a power ranking of the Kongs, and Donkey Kong is at like a 5 and Funky is at a 4. So you could argue that he's like slightly weaker, but Diddy Kong is at 2. So we know that Funky is stronger than Diddy Kong and
double, twice as strong as Diddy Kong.
If it's geometric, we're not sure. In any case, at the very least, if you want to be super conservative about it, he scales to Diddy Kong. Now, at the end of Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, we know from Donkey Kong vs. Knuckles that Donkey Kong punches the moon out of orbit. However, if you play as Diddy Kong for the end of that fight, if Diddy Kong is in first player, then the same cutscene plays out, except instead of punching it, Mike, if you could bring up image 5, Diddy Kong is launched into outer space by an explosion and then headbutts the moon and knocks it out of orbit back down to Earth. He Hondas it. He actually flies past it and then falls down and head bonks it, and it falls back down to Earth. Now, the moon's size is portrayed inconsistently, even in this cutscene. In different games, like in different other Mario franchise games, the moon is moon-sized. In this one, when it cuts to it falling back down to Earth, it's the size of the island. If you want to be as conservative as possible, let's say that it's the size of the island itself, or we're basing its size off of the island and not assuming it's moon-sized. Even that, measuring its mass and then the speed at which Diddy Kong knocked it back down to Earth would be a kinetic energy of 655 petatons of TNT. Now, a petaton is 1,000 times greater than a teraton. And the meteor that wiped out the dinosaurs was about 100 teratons. So this is about 6,000 times greater than that. 6,500 times more powerful than that. And this is Diddy Kong doing it with a headbutt. Like, this was a mistake. This was not a conscious punch. Funky Kong should be much stronger. On top of that, I wanted to save this, his best weapon is from Donkey Kong 64. He is not playable in that game, but he shows up. He's the one that provides you with your weapons, like every game. He shows up at the end of the final boss. Could you bring up image 1, Mike? With a boot bazooka. Now, the final boss of Donkey Kong 64 is a giant kaiju-sized King K. Rool, actually about the same size as the Franky mech.
Okay.
And Donkey Kong himself is unable to hurt, and none of the Kongs are able to hurt this version of K. Rool without like extra equipment. Like Donkey Kong has to launch himself through these giant barrels. Chunky Kong, who is stronger than Donkey Kong, has to actually grow to the size of K. Rool in order to start hurting him with punches. Funky Kong comes out at the end, uses the boot bazooka, and if you could bring up image 2, Mike, one-shots King K. Rool, launches him out of the stadium, and sends him flying across the entire island. This boot bazooka is more powerful than any attack that any of the Kongs are able to do. Remember, Donkey Kong, unable to hurt King K. Rool at all with his punches. So this boot bazooka is definitively more powerful than
Well,
Donkey
maybe they wore him down.
He actually was. Well, you could say that.
I mean, that's what the health bar is, right?
Also,
Right.
of course, there go the boots.
Also,
in chat.
You could say that he wore him down.
But this is a red boot, guys. It's a red boot.
It's a red
Getting
boot.
the wrong boot.
of course
But none of their attacks were strong enough to actually like send him flying out of the arena. So it is
Gotcha.
definitively more powerful than all their other stuff.
I will argue
if
that
he did this, if he pointed this to the Franky mech or the Thousand Sunny, it would be like the fucking Holdo maneuver from Last Jedi. He would launch it and then it would just like jump cut to like a fucking boot-sized hole right through it. So significantly more power. This is like, that's a level of power, like petatons is a level of power that you'd be doing with like Kaido, and Franky was only able to hold his own against Sasaki, who is a member of the Tobi Roppo, much less powerful than Kaido. Definitively, Funky is much stronger.
So you're saying that Franky couldn't hold against Kaido,
Correct.
right? And couldn't hold against someone like Big Mom, who is like in like the same level as Kaido.
Big Mom is weaker than Kaido. The fact that like Law and Kid were able to like,
Would you argue that after the fight that they had and they were in a stalemate?
Who was in a stalemate with who?
With Kaido, when they were
who was in a stalemate?
Big Mom. And
Big
Kaido,
Mom was in a stalemate with Kaido.
Yeah,
they just clashed once and then they were friends. It was not like there was not a big long like. They just clashed. It was not. Kaido also didn't like use his dragon form or.
Well, hang on. Go ahead and explain. Go ahead and run through it, Louis.
Yeah. Make the argument.
Well, that's because like it's just a panel on the in the manga, right? It's just like representing of what they were doing. They were clashing against each other, but that doesn't mean there wasn't a fight in between that. Like it was this Pantheon in that's right, the anime. So they had an actual clash in the anime, and and I would say that they reached in the anime they reached a stalemate, which is why they decided let's just team up together if we can't beat each other up, basically.
Lee and Mandragon in chat saying Oda confirmed Big Mom and Kaido are about the same. I mean, if they were specifically kind of duking it out like that in the manga, I mean that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Should clarify though that Franky is not even remotely as strong as Kaido.
Well,
Like,
we're getting to
until
that,
you-
right? So,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
you're bringing up Kaido. How
Yeah.
does this relate to Franky?
Image 7 and 8, please. I will argue that if Franky can easily, if he can easily knock down Big Mom with his motorcycle, he could pair up against Big Mom.
Just ran over Big Mom's face.
Yeah, in Image 8, he gets actually knocked down, and he says, "Let's leave before she actually gets back up because she's unconscious."
Oh, he knocks
basically.
her out, not knocked
Yeah.
down. Knocks
Knock,
out.
knocked down. Yeah, knocked out.
Oh my god. Okay, yeah. I mean, knocked her out with his. Wait. Okay. We haven't really touched on his vehicles. How does he? Can he just summon his vehicles at any time?
He can use them. They are within the Sunny, which he can take out of them and like merge them together to create the big robot that I showed earlier, basically. And they can separate at any time and then fight.
Luis is leaving out a pretty big detail in regards to like Big Mom getting knocked out. Big Mom had fucking brain damage in that arc. Like, she had been knocked out earlier in that arc and then had amnesia for most of the arc. So her
amnesia was gone
how
at
is
that point. Her amnesia was gone.
Hang on. How is that any different? Like, from a obviously it's different, but from this standpoint, how is that any different that, oh, she got knocked out by the motorcycle after all this fucked up stuff happened to her, versus, oh, the bazooka knocked K-Rool into the sky after all the other Kongs beat the shit out of him? How is that different in this context?
It is different. You're right.
Let me answer. Let me answer.
Let me answer real quick.
No, let me answer.
It is different. It is different, Ben.
Me. Oh, God.
No. Wait. You wait right
What are you
there
talking
one
about?
second. It is different, Ben, because in that fight, King K. Rool was damaged. Well, during here in this scene, she has recovered from her amnesia and is completely fine. She hasn't fought anybody else in a long time at that point. So it is different. You're right.
It was a couple
of
of days.
in favor of Franky.
And the difference is that I'm not basing the strength of the boot bazooka off of its ability to defeat K-Rool. I'm basing it off of the fact that no other attack was able to launch him out of the fucking stadium.
I'm
talking about his. I'm not talking about his stamina.
I do think there is argument against that though, because theoretically, and like Calendar Man kind of mentions, like amnesia doesn't necessarily affect physical impact and physical damage. But if you're knocked out, obviously you would not be able to push against a physical attack. And I think there's an argument to be made that Donkey Kong wasn't able to punch and knock King K. Rool around because K. Rool was conscious at the time and able to fight back. And by the time the boot was shot at him, he was weakened and couldn't really fight back, and that's why he got flung away.
No, you take damage when you touch K. Rool. You take damage when you touch K. Rool as Donkey Kong. Like, he is so much more powerful that you take damage when you touch him. He is invincible unless you are using those barrels to fight.
Well, I'm not talking about you taking damage. I'm talking about whether or not Donkey Kong would be able to knock him into the sky like Funky did.
He didn't. And even Chunky, when he was the size of King K. Rool and able to hurt him, wasn't knocking him into the sky. He was just knocking him back across
I'm
the thing.
saying you're missing what I'm saying. I'm saying it might be because K. Rool was, conscious and able to fight back. And by the time it got to Funky shooting him, he was no longer capable of fighting back. And if he had been in that same situation and like Chunky had punched him, the same thing could have happened in that specific situation.
I think at worst, that means that Funky Kong, with everything else, absolutely scales to Donkey Kong and the rest of the cast. Like, I don't think you can make the claim that he doesn't.
Sure, sure.
With
just keep in mind that there is a health bar that's going down, right?
The health bar resets with every Kong, but like the way that there was like rounds, but whatever. With Luis's argument of scaling this to Kaido, like, no character was able to hurt Kaido without Conqueror's Haki. Conqueror's Haki was a literal plot necessity in order to be able to hurt Kaido. And
does Big Mama have it?
Franky,
yes, he does.
Big Mom does have it. Franky does not. And
was
which is
able
why
none
he
of
had
the
to
characters.
use
Yeah.
the motorcycle. All right,
Yeah,
I do
course.
think we do need to get to our sneak peek here because we are getting kind of close to the end here. But before we get to that, let me tell you about our second sponsor for this week's episode, Echoes of History. What would you do to save humanity, and how far would you go to stop someone who was getting in your way? The ancient rivalry of assassins and Templars cuts to the heart of good versus evil, and it's not always clear who is right and who is wrong. Travel back in time and explore the captivating world of medieval feuds in the historical podcast Echoes of History: Assassins versus Templars. Yes, those assassins and those Templars. This is an Assassin's Creed thing. It's a special collaboration between History Hit and Ubisoft, aka the people behind the Assassin's Creed game. This 8-episode season takes a close look at the real history between the secret societies that inspired the Assassin's Brotherhood and the Templar Order in the games. Each episode brings on premier historians to do a deep dive into things like the Crusades, the myths of the Grail, and discovering the real people behind these secret societies, which is really cool. Like, there's so much thought that goes into like how those games explore history and kind of showcase them in a new kind of way.
Sounds
so
familiar,
diving into
Ben.
the real stuff. Yeah, kind of like our show in a way. But except maybe a bit more meaningful with history. But like real world history. But now I forget what I was gonna say. It's a really cool idea. It's a really cool idea. So the Echoes of History: Assassins versus Templars podcast is available right now wherever you get your podcasts. Listen to and subscribe to Echoes of History today to discover the hidden truths that have shaped our world and inspired the video game series. That's Echoes of History wherever you get your podcasts. Listen today and subscribe for more. All right, let's get back to
that was like the perfect fit, like for what we do here. Let's do a crossover. Can we do a crossover?
I mean, we don't really dive into actual history all that often. That's like the main difference, right?
Yeah, well, still interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway,
maybe we should do more of that. Maybe any historical battles you want us to do in the future, guys, let us know.
I mean, we did mythology, which is kind of close.
Okay, so now I'm just thinking like presidential death battle. Like,
oh, here we go again.
Oh no.
Anyway,
anyway,
well, we've done that on this show before.
we've
did
done
funny
DBX, but like an
versus-
actual death battle between like
Funny
I don't know.
Valentine versus Senator Armstrong. Remember that presidential
Oh
campaign?
no, I'm talking about
2024.
actual presidents.
Oh,
yeah.
Like,
By the way,
looking into
yeah.
the actual history of somebody like
TR
Roosevelt and
versus
Jackson.
Jackson,
Yeah.
yeah.
We were
Anyway,
literally talking about this the other day.
yeah.
Roosevelt
Anyway,
and Lincoln, man. Also, Gelatin Man dropped 20 memberships, which I assume means play the preview. So, thank you, Gelatin
yes,
Man.
it is time to finally look at the sneak peek for Stitch versus Rocket. Let's check it out.
I'm so excited.
You smashed my ship, Flark Face! What did you say about my mother? You disgust me.
All right, we're kicking up for a trip to Space Hawaii this upcoming weekend. Stitch vs. Rocket is going to be available for first members and for planet level and galaxy members this Sunday, and then it will go public this Monday, right before RTX, basically, which is the next weekend. Which, if you are coming to RTX, we're of course going to be there as well, and we might have some stuff to show, including maybe a little bit of what's coming next in Death Battle. All
I'm
right.
so excited for this episode. Sorry, I know we're short on time, but
Yeah.
It's time to get to these votes. So, as I'm real quick, last statements for the characters. Let's keep these brief because we only have 10 minutes. And let's start with Funky. Just any last minute things you want to make sure are out there for Funky.
He scales thousands of times above anything that Franky scales to. If you want to be like conservative, he is like slightly slower, but has invincibility and revives that activate automatically, which would nullify the speed disadvantage. You can also scale him to like the rest of the Mario cast via Donkey Kong, which makes him like a cajillion times faster than light. Like characters that like fly through different galaxies. I mean, Donkey Kong is one of the Star Children, just like Mario, and they fight all the time. His arsenal, I think the arsenals mostly counter each other. The boot bazooka is powerful enough. And Franky's big weakness is stamina based on his cola. So once he runs out, he doesn't have access to any of his powerful attacks and would be worn down and beaten by Funky. Funky wouldn't need to wear him down though; he just beat him normally. But
yeah, we haven't really talked about the cola much.
That's
all right.
All
right, last bits for Franky.
I'll address the cola real quick. It hasn't been a problem since the time skip. They haven't shown any problem with the cola. Just wanted to put that out there. As for my final arguments for Franky, I just want to show one more image, and that's image 2, and that will be the base of my the end of my argument, which is like Franky took an entire fucking nuke in the face, and he survived the nuke. He was at the epicenter of the nuke. Oh, sorry. That's why he presses the button.
Wait. Sorry. What does this say about his intelligence? A pirate symbol?
And then he pushes the button, it blows up in his face.
Yeah,
is that what's
that
happening
will
here?
be image 3. Yep, there we go.
Oh!
And then it blows up. And I will argue that the One Piece world is a lot bigger than the world of like Donkey Kong, because it has been stated that it's bigger than Earth. So this nuke is probably probably twice or even 3 times bigger than a normal nuke, and he survived that by image 4, please. And this is like literally what he ended up looking like after the nuke, which is just like his skin peeled up a little bit, and he didn't even notice that he got hit by a nuke. Basically,
his mouth.
Yeah, he's
okay,
and you can see his eyeball strings or whatever.
Okay,
nerves,
so his skin burned off and he was fine. He didn't even realize.
So he has a huge durability feat, and the cola is not a big issue. And the whole Donkey Kong and Franky Kong scaling bullshit and Mario's it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit.
It's all a lie.
That's my argument for
it's
those.
all a set.
All right.
Luis
Let's go ahead and get to this vote. We are going to start with the answers that you guys provided on the YouTube channel in the community tab before the show. Let's go ahead and bring up the first one.
This one's from Zivio of the Green. Yeah, sorry, it's a little blurry on my screen. I mean, Funky did create DK's coconut gun, which, if I remember correctly, fires in spurts. Also, if he shoots you, it's gonna hurt.
Clearly bypasses durability.
Okay.
So that's omniscient narration.
I don't know if I can
All right,
argue
how
with
about
that.
for Franky?
It's just a universal truth. All right. This one from Guido Block. Yep, sure. To be honest, I do not know a lot about Funky, so I'm not going to underestimate him. I've spoken like somebody who definitely watches our show. But knowing how much weapons and gadgets Franky has at his disposal, he should put up a fair fight. Franky is definitely one of the most sturdy Straw Hats and can take some serious damage. We'll see what is going to be what I'm looking for. We'll see what it's going to be, but I'm looking forward to this one.
Well, good. I hope.
Yeah,
it's panning out how you hoped it would. Okay, so I'm gonna get the poll up right now. So chat, you can go ahead and start voting once that appears in the live chat. And it's time for us to start figuring out who wins. Starting with the community poll from before the show. Let's go ahead and bring that up. Get the first vote in.
Whoa!
And wow, Funky Kong with 62% of the vote.
I am legitimately surprised. I thought that was gonna go Franky for sure.
It's a Mario character.
It's not a Mario character.
It's also, I mean, Funky
it's
Kong.
a Donkey Kong character that doesn't scale with Donkey Kong.
Well, either way, it's Funky Kong. He's cool. Everybody loves Funky Kong. All right, so we got one vote for Funky Kong. All right, so Chad, we have 2 criteria here. Because if you're torn on who should win, just pull up shadyrays.com and look up a pair of glasses and see who would look better in it.
Let's see. See which the first ones I see. Oh yeah, that's gonna be so glasses. It's gonna be Funky, I think. Unfortunately for Luis. Y'all, I just accidentally closed. Oh, I accidentally closed all my tabs. All right. Anyway, that's gonna be more work for me later. Anyway, yeah, no, man, I was like fully Team Funky Kong. Liam did a very good job with his presentation. Not to say you didn't, Luis, but man, Liam came out swinging with calcs and receipts. But the surviving a nuke thing at the end really kind of made me question that a little bit.
Versus
point blank,
the moon,
by the way,
knocking the moon out of orbit.
Just want to like state that
like
is
millions of times greater than a nuke.
That is a lot bigger than a regular nuke.
Even something blowing up an island would be millions of times less than knocking the moon out of orbit. Even the tiny moon, right?
What do you think, Chad?
I'll say fine. I'll stick with it. I'm gonna go with Funky. I'm sorry. Luis. I love you.
Thank you.
You're going Funky.
I'm going
even
Funky.
with the nuke thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think Funky's crazy OP.
Okay. I mean, I'm looking at Shady Rays, and I think I'm seeing like these green shades, and I think they would go really well with Frankie's hair.
There you go.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I think Franky takes. I mean, at the end of the day, how cool can a monkey or gorilla really look with shades? Like it's
he has
cute.
an afro.
Not really.
Funky's
not really.
cute. Like he's not
Funky
that
has
cool,
an
guys.
afro.
If you take off the bandana, he's just like a silly little gorilla with shades
Honestly,
on.
he probably takes out the bandana, and that is all bald. Like
Probably.
He has an afro in Donkey Kong Country 3 as an afro.
Does he? Okay, that's kind of dope.
Yeah.
So we know it's
I didn't know that.
It's an actual afro. Is it a wig? How do we know?
I mean, even if it's a wig, that's pretty dope.
And underneath it, he has a gun he's going to use to shoot Frankie's head off.
Franky can change his hair to anything. By pressing his nose.
It can be whatever you want.
It's never as good as the pompadour. They refuse to give him back the fucking pompadour, and it pisses me off.
He brought it back, but with like a cannon thing in Dressrosa.
I know,
right?
it looks dumb. It looks so. It's funny for like a single panel, and then it's like, ugh, is he really still have this?
The last time he used it was the Fishman Island, right? I started talking about One Piece. My bad.
We could just do a One Piece podcast for a while because these guys are talking.
We definitely could.
So
really good right now.
I can't deny the idea that like Franky is basically bringing his arsenal, like a whole arsenal with him, with like the metal arms and the vehicles and whatnot. Funky punching the moon or being capable of punching the moon. Technically, he hasn't. Definitely, I think makes me lean towards Funky. However, I think we've talked about how that moon is actually way smaller than the real moon, so it's a much lesser feat than
that calc.
Correct.
The calc I did is with the smaller moon. The Penitence is with the smaller moon.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't bring any calcs. I didn't bring any calcs from any of my things. That is bullshit that you brought calcs. Bullshit.
Okay.
Why are you so fucking smart? So mad. So fucking mad.
You know what? I wanted to give it. I'm giving it to Funky for the battle, but I'm actually just voting for Luis.
Okay.
Because I think that one. I'm not voting for Franky. I'm voting for Luis. That's my vote. But Funky gets my battle vote, which is 3 votes to 0
Funky.
at the moment, which does mean. Well, we'll see what you guys voted in the chat.
The chat vote counts for 4 votes this time.
Sure, okay, counts for 4 votes.
I can say that
and at the end of the day, the poll ends with actually a bit closer than I was expecting. Funky Kong with 55% of the votes.
That's more than half.
Well, yeah, that's how this works.
I take this smart thing back.
All right. right.
I want to know
Funky
where
Kong
that,
wins.
I want to know where that not YouTube never. Where does that 1% go? It never adds up, and I want to know where it is.
I think it's just
round. Well, I guess
Yeah,
even
it's
if it rounded
rounded, I
up,
think.
it wouldn't make sense. Maybe it just rounds down. Whatever. He's talking about it. It says it's 55% and 44%. So
I'm
there's
gonna
a
ask
percentage missing somewhere.
I'm gonna waste. We have like a really high up YouTube rep because of like Warner Bros. Discovery. I am gonna waste time in our meeting, the next time our monthly meeting, and I'm gonna be like, where does that 1% go in the poll?
Okay. Well, now that you've said that live, Chad, we need an answer.
I will.
Next,
They probably will. He will probably tell me he does not know, but I will try.
It won't be next week because we're actually gonna have to pre-record next week's because of RTX coming up and also the July 4th weekend.
Oh, that's true.
Next week is a little crazy because of all that going on. And hey, if you're in Austin and in July 4th or after July 4th, because RTX takes place that following weekend, July 7th through 9th, come check out RTX. We'll be there. We got a panel. There's going to be this whole sort of show floor that's got this sort of like, what is it, Disneyland summer camp vibe going on. It's going to be really fun.
This is going to be an incredibly unique RTX and one you don't want to miss. Like, yeah, we've got a panel, we've got an autograph signing. It's going to be time for you guys to get to probably hanging out with us, say hi. I got a ton of stuff going on. We've got like an Extra Life panel where you guys can pitch your own Extra Life segments. I'm doing stand-up for the second time in my life for comedy night. So yeah, I got to finish writing that type 5. But it's to be really fun. We got the rave going on, which is now led by our diversity and inclusion groups, and I've been helping like consult with that because y'all know I'm from the rave forever. So it's gonna be super rad.
We always love the rave.
Yeah. Come.
And there's tons of other stuff going on. It is a different vibe of RTX because RTX has been very similar for the past several years. So trying something new and making it more centralized and exciting is kind of the big goal here, and we're very excited to meet everybody there, and it's going to be a lot of fun. All right, well, thank you to everybody who tuned in and joined in. Thank you, members, for supporting us and voting for
the wrong
Funky
character.
Kong, who also I have a question just to wrap the show up. How does he fit into the Kong family? Is he Donkey Kong's brother or uncle or father or lover?
I think he's just a. Well, see, that's actually the
Secret
subject.
Yes,
that
one
is the
thing the
subject
Mario
of
movie
the
messed
story
up.
that I've been writing.
One thing they said, Donkey Kong is the son of Cranky Kong, and that's wrong.
No, he's the grandson.
He's the grandson. That's the one thing the Mario movie screwed up. Anyway,
they might be retconning.
It was also bad.
Either way,
they're wrong, Ben.
Our perceptions of what it was.
I want them
20
to
years
bring
ago
back
matter more.
Yeah.
I want them to bring back Donkey Kong Jr. as like an adult, but like in the same in that same T-shirt, but like Donkey Kong's dad. But yeah, Funky Kong is Donkey Kong's lover. They love each other deeply. A passionate relationship, physical relationship, physical. Yeah,
good for them. That's
yes,
nice.
it is very.
Glad,
it's very
is the
progressive.
Perfect month to air that. That was great.
Yeah, exactly. This is
Happy Pride.
This is
everybody.
a Pride.
We love and support y'all.
Death Battle
These
Cast
are the
episode.
Representatives you've been looking for.
I was at a rehearsal. I was at a workshop this weekend. Taught by the guy that voices Sindri in God of War Ragnarok. That's just
cool.
a side thing. And we left that workshop and we were walking by Washington Square Park and we were like, oh right, it's this weekend. And it was so fucking packed. It was so packed and everyone was having a good time. And it was a lovely time. It was also very hot outside.
Like, save it for the champion cast, Liam.
We'll talk about Pride Weekend and Champion Cast.
Stop.
Also, apparently,
you
Funky
guys.
Kong is DK's brother.
Oh, okay.
Got
Well,
some
that
real-
ruins everything.
Really?
Real Game of Thrones.
Well, yeah, that makes it all way more awkward. All right, hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. We'll play the Stitcher vs. Rocket sneak peek at the end here, so you can check it out one more time in case you missed it. But until next week, hey, be kind to others, be kind to yourself, be awesome. See you then. Take care.
Bye.
smashed my ship, Flark face! What did you say about my mother? You disgust me.